Welcome to the new year, everyone. I am so excited because I'm finally sitting down to do the last part of 10 palettes, 10 palette review in 10 minutes. Boy, it has been a end of the year. The beginning of the year is starting with a lot, which is fine. Very fine. At least my life isn't boring, right? Here we are. Today I have done my makeup. I'm not going anywhere, but I've done my makeup so I can do this video, so I can put this last part out because I really enjoy doing this kind of review. Over some of the reviews I've seen where they do take a couple, like almost an hour to go over each palette that they've reviewed over a course of time. And while those are very useful, I do like these videos because it basically forces me to pick my words carefully and to really understand what I like about something before I start talking about it, which I do enjoy. And I don't think my opinion has changed about a lot of the palettes that are in my possession right now. This is part 2, because apparently I looked at 20 palettes in the second half of the year, when I did not look at that. That's double what I looked at the beginning of the year. Interesting, but we move. So this is a mixture of like older palettes, newer palettes, palettes that are no longer in circulation, limited edition, also some just like also ones that you can still access, or there are certain palettes that maybe you can't get, but the brand is still going, so you can still get a similar formula. One of the things I am going to mention in this is I may not talk about formula as much unless it is a new to me kind of brand or palette, or if the formula is so off from the original brand's formula that I have to say something. But I have a stack here. I'm so scared to lift the stack because I'm always scared it's gonna fall and it's gonna break and I'm just gonna cry. Because that's, oh boy, that's a lot of makeup that could go seriously, like really destroyed, and it would destroy my soul. Especially since some of these are limited edition. Destroy my soul for sure. But with that being said, I do have a stack of palettes here to show you, so let's get the show on the road. So I'm gonna pull up my timer and let's see, let's get it to 10 minutes. Even though I set it at 10 minutes earlier, it decided to backtrack on me. But let's see if we can get 10 minutes on the clock. 10 minutes. All right, I'm gonna give this an attempt. 10 palettes, we're gonna try this. I'm getting my notes out so I know exactly what I'm gonna try and say about each one. I typically fall behind anyways, but we're just gonna keep going. So if you're interested, keep watching because I'm about to start this timer in 3, 2, 1. All right, starting off with the YSL Couture Mini Clutch Palette. This is in the number 400. It's like a pinky mauve palette, a little bit of peach. Super cute in my opinion. I like this. I like the size. I like YSL blushes for sure, and the eyeshadow formula is pretty good. I do think this is way more expensive for what it is, but then again, it's luxury, it's bougie, so obviously it's gonna be a little expensive, even though, you know, you're only getting 4 shades for like 60 something bucks. Luckily, I did get this from my lovely fiance, so thank you to him for getting this for me. I do enjoy traveling with it. My big issue though is these little brushes right here. I hate them. Like, why would you take up more space when you could have put more makeup in there? Why waste my time with that? But the colors are cute, formula's good, so I digress. All right, next is this palette that I cannot remember the name to save my life. But this is what it looks like. This is what the color story looks like. And we progress. This is from Terra Cosmetics. I have tried maybe one other palette from them. They didn't have a ton of mattes in here, so this was like a really good opportunity to try out the mattes in this palette, and they are pigmented. They are beautiful, but this is not my favorite color story. It's definitely not colors I typically reach for. I do like that my fiance got this for me to push me outside of my comfort zone when it comes to colors like this, and I do appreciate it. And the colors are not ugly in any sense, but it's just, I feel like it's just not my cup of tea. Pretty, but not my cup of tea, but still a good formula if that's what you're looking for. All right, now we're going to Artitude Cosmetics again. I did buy 2 palettes from them. This is the Arcana palette. This is the colors. Obviously, that is my kind of color story. And if you haven't heard, I'm gonna tell you for the 50 millionth time, I love dragons. Dragons are amazing. Love, love, love dragons. So obviously, like, this, like, excited me. Excitement. Dragons, rainbows, love. This is a little bit more neutral than I thought it was gonna be. In my opinion, I see how it works, but I was expecting this to be a little bit more colorful considering what dragons look like. But still a beautiful formula, still beautifully sparkly, which reminds me of dragon scales, so that makes me very happy. And I don't think you'll be disappointed. Just know there are more neutrals in this than I anticipated. But you may like that. All right. Rotten palette. This is Blend Bunny X May Pang. First off, the packaging is fuzzy. So if you have any qualms with playing with something that feels fuzzy and is modeled after mold, give that a consideration. This is what the matte palette looks like. I did not buy the shimmers, but this is beautiful. This is probably one of the most unique matte palettes I have ever seen before in my life. I've seen rainbow matte palettes, I've seen neutral matte palettes, warm, cool, neutral, but this is just phenomenal. I've done neutral looks, I've done colorful looks. I love this palette. I really do think this is for artistry. And if that is what you are into, then I do not think you will be disappointed by this palette because of how unique it really is. I cannot say enough about how unique it is. All right, I'm running behind. Fantasy Cosmetica, the Cradled in Ice palette. So I was a little worried about this one at first because in the pictures online, a lot of these colors, especially the shimmers, look very similar. But when you get it in your hand, they are definitely different. Obviously, I'm gonna mention again, dragons. Where are my dragons? But I was wrong about the shimmers. The shimmers are beautiful. It's cool toned, which is something I really love. And I obviously love a good mixture of blues, pinks, and peaches. I actually really enjoy a blue and a peach together. So this was kind of a perfect storm of a palette, and I'm glad I picked it up. I did get it on sale, which probably is why I made the jump to buy it, but I didn't get a huge sale discount on it. But I do not regret picking this one up. This one is beautiful. All right. This one I have some complicated feelings on it, not because of the actual palette, but because who gave it to me. I think I did a video on that, on losing friendships. And this was a palette that was given to me by a friend that we broke up with in 2025. So first off, I love this. The Fuji-Goko palette. I love the colors. I think the colors are beautiful, complementary to the theme, but also to each other. I feel like I don't have a hard time matching colors together. The art and texture on this is super interesting, which I love. But then again, Nomad has been so creative for so many years, I'm not surprised. This is not my favorite shimmer formula, but it is still a good shimmer formula. I do not think you will be disappointed by it, for sure. And yes, I kept the box because I like the box too. Oh my gosh, I'm running behind. Okay, Beauty Moon Cosmetics Once Upon a Time palette. My only issue with this one, well, I got two issues. One is the artwork. It's not my favorite artwork. I feel like there have just been more creative artwork on the palettes, but I think this is one of their earlier palettes, so I'm not gonna fault too much. And then this is the color story. I don't know, for some reason I feel like there needs to be a little bit more balance in this palette for some reason. I don't know. I feel like it's a little harder to create a look with this, but I still love the color story. It's a weird feeling to love the color story, but also feel like nothing, like there needs to be more complementary shades. I would love to see if she can like revamp this in some way and maybe add another purple. Add another purple somewhere. That would actually be really cool. All right, the Beauty Moon Cosmetics Treat Palette. You know I love Beauty Moon Cosmetics, so I probably have 50 million palettes from Beauty Moon. This also was with Ice Cream Beauty and Doodle by the Bunny. There we go. I'm so sorry. I panicked last video about it. I honestly love this color story. Like the pink and the greens almost feel like a strawberry, like mint chocolate chip vibe. Very reminiscent of the theme, which is Treat. But I realized I actually don't play with this one as much. The Trick one actually has me, I reach for it more, and I did not realize that is something I would do because I thought this color story would actually be my favorite, but it turns out the Trick one is my favorite. I think this is also the closest to a neutral palette that she has gotten to so far. I will review another one later that might change my mind, but this is the closest to a neutral color story I think I've ever seen from her. And I hope this is the closest we ever get to a neutral color story because I go to Beauty Moon Cosmetics for color, not for a neutral palette. All right, I'm running behind. Medusa. This was a palette by Beauty Moon Cosmetics. This is a palette I was so scared to use, and I don't know why, because it's beautiful. I created so many beautiful looks with this palette, and I did a video where I combined the Ice Maiden palette with the Medusa palette because I thought they were so completely different. There was no way to make something, and I made something that I loved eyeshadow-wise. So if you're scared of this one, don't be scared, give it a try. I think you will actually enjoy what you make with it. Plus, like, look at that. That is so pretty. That is like so freaking pretty when it comes to artwork. See, this is what I mean. And then also, I actually feel really special to own this one because this was one of the first that came out. In the corner, I think it's supposed to be Moonlit Spell, but it's Moon It Spell. I love things that are unique like that, so I'm not upset with it, but I know some people might. Just consider that. I'm sure it's probably been changed at this point, to be quite honest. I don't think it's still on there. Oh crap, I talked too long. 30 seconds. Glaminatrix Cosmetics. This is the Timeless Tones palette, and I love it that it's cool toned. I do like the mixture of neutrals and colors. I do wish this was a little bit more of a blue palette. I do think that the color story does match the packaging very well, but I wish it was more like a China set than it actually is in the palette. All right, stop. Okay. 10 palettes. Oh, 10 minutes. Okay. Now that I've gotten through that, that is just some of my feelings on these palettes. There are plenty I have enjoyed, but I feel like this round of palettes, I don't know why, I feel like I was a little bit more critical of. Not because I hate them per se, it's just more of there is a certain expectation, and when you own a certain amount of palettes from a brand, you start to get a little bit more picky because you own so many from them that you need to start not picking them apart, not bullying them or like being nitpicky just to be nitpicky, but to, you know, really evaluate what you have in your collection from certain brands and think about, well, okay, this is my favorite one, does this one live up to my favorite? And I think that's just more of the case than it is like, I hate this palette. Because I love Beauty Moon Cosmetics, but there are palettes from her I love more than other palettes. Like, my favorite is still the Ice Maiden, and if you do want a ranking of all my Beauty Moon cosmetic palettes and you want to see me like panic as a person, I am more than happy to do a ranking video. Honestly, I think that would be kind of fun and terrifying at the same time. Same with Glaminatrix Cosmetics. I think I have enough palettes from both of them that I can actually like do a video ranking a bunch of different palettes that I own in my collection. Because I think there's only a couple brands I could actually like go through my collection and be like, okay, I have enough of these palettes that I can, you know, make a comprehensive list and actually rank something that's more than just 1, 2, 3. But that's all I got for y'all today. Let me know if maybe I had a misjudgment on something. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you completely agree with what I said about these palettes. Maybe you just love to watch me panic on a timer. Perfectly fine. I'm glad I could entertain you during those moments. Make sure to check out my Instagram. It is mentioned down here. Come check me out. We have a little bit of fun over there as well. Big shout out to all the brands that I did small reviews over, especially some of my favorites, such as Beauty Moon Cosmetics, Glaminatrix Cosmetics, Artitude, which is becoming a fan favorite of mine as of recent, Blend Bunny Cosmetics, and there's probably Fantasy Cosmetica. I did want to make sure of that. I would love to try more of certain other brands so I can get a feel for them. I would love, because I was thinking about this, I really love my Terra Moon singles, but my palettes I'm not as big of a fan of, which is so funny because there are so many brands that I'm the opposite about, but for them, that's just, it is what it is kind of deal. But I appreciate all of you coming to my channel and joining me in the new year. This year is going to be very chaotic and busy, and I am so excited for a lot of the chaos, and I am very not excited for some of the chaos that is coming this year. I did want to mention that I did, speaking of Beauty Moon Cosmetics, I did use the Missile Glow palette on my eyes today with a little bit of bronzer in the crease. Absolutely love this look that I'm doing. I will have pictures up on my Instagram actually of this look so you can kind of check it out. I'll put down the shades I used on this eye look. It's actually really simple, the look I did, but it still looks so pretty. I hope all of you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Welcome to the new year. Let us tiptoe carefully in so we don't break anything within the first month. Much love to y'all, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one.